What exactly is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is a language used for managing relational databases. And at this point, you might be wondering what is a database, and more specifically, what is a relational database? So first, a database is simply just an organized collection of data which is stored and accessed digitally. Imagine it as an efficient notebook. For example, a school keeping records of students or a grocery store keeping records of available items. The databases can be categorized into different types based on the format in which they store data, because data can be stored in any kind of format or pattern. A relational database stores data in tables. Tables are simply a grid which contains some columns, and oftentimes the columns are labeled with some names, and the rows, they contain the data. And in a table, each row represents a unique entry of data, or in other words, a unit of data. In a table, in a relational database, each column has a fixed data type, which means that it can only support values from that specific data type. And therefore, relational databases are ideal for storing well-structured data that follow a specific format. For example, if you want to store records of an employee, we might have a fixed set of attributes with defined data types that we want to store in our database. For example, the name of the employee, which will be a string, the age of the employee, which will be integer, the job title, which again will be a string, the salary, which will be a float, and join date, which will be a date. And just to clarify, date is an actual supported data type in most implementations of SQL. So these 5 attributes will represent the 5 columns of the employees table. The data of all the employees which will be inserted into this table will have exactly the above mentioned attributes, no more or no less. This makes the data inside the database well structured, coherent, and easy to deal with, increasing the overall efficiency. And SQL is the main tool used for interacting with relational databases. We can write queries to retrieve data or to update data inside the database.